Hey, what's up, Street Hogs? Eric from the Eric Street Photography blog. Currently back here in Berkeley after a really long 6 month travel abroad. I just came back from, I think, where was I? Stockholm for 2 weeks. I was in Dubai for about 2 weeks. Oh no, before that I was in London for 2 weeks and then Dubai for about a week and a half. And traveling has been absolutely amazing. I have had such a wonderful pleasure being able to meet all these passionate photographers from all around the world. Quick life update. The reason I actually went to Stockholm was I did a charity street photography event. I got paid for doing it, but it was a charity in the sense that it was actually for adopted children and all these adopted children. Stockholm, the idea was trying to maybe find an artistic outlet or a way for them to think about the identity as adopted children, and also doing that through street photography. And my buddy Matthias helped me organize it. He paid for my expenses and my trip doing it, and it was an amazing experience. Uh, and also, I did one of my workshops myself. Really cold in Stockholm, was able to make it through it. Brought a thick jacket. Then went over to London, did two workshops there. Got a lot of really good writing done. Unfortunately, didn't really have the chance to meet many photographers there. There was a lot of interviews I wanted to do, but unfortunately couldn't do that. But regardless, it was a bit lonely in London, to be honest. But at the same time, it was a good chance for me to really reflect on my life and personally what I want out of photography, which ultimately I think I'm more interested in education than shooting myself. Not to say that I'm not passionate about shooting, but I want to make the purpose of my life to help other people. And lastly, when I was in Dubai, yeah, I did. I was one of the co-organizers for the street photography exhibition that I helped curate there at Gold Photo Plus. Amazing turnout. Had a great time. Taught a few workshops there, and also had to buy some new shoes because my boots were a bit too hot. But anyways, just came back here in Berkeley, California, and had the chance to finally decompress after my travels. I kind of always go into cave recluse mode after a long bit traveling, and I've really discovered home is where the heart is. And I wanted to think of ways I could be more helpful and give back more to the street photography community now that I'm back home. A lot of you guys on YouTube are like, "Oh, Eric, your microphone sucks," and I know because I'm usually using my smartphone and stuff like that. But to your guys' advantage, picked up this Yeti Blue microphone. It's pretty expensive. Actually, not that expensive, about like $100, and hopefully it could hopefully the audio sounds okay. I'm using the headphones plugged in, so I think it sounds okay. But let me know in the comments. There's one podcast that I really like. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts because I've been driving around, shuttling Cindy to and from class and spend a lot of time in the car. And there's this guy named James Altucher who I love. He's got the most honest blog out there, and he has a feature called Ask Altucher, in which a lot of people just ask him any random questions, and he's done like 150 of them, and I've just found so much information and value out of it. I thought to myself, maybe I could start something for street photography. And of course, I'm a student, I'm still learning, and I don't have all the answers, but maybe some of the things here and there I've learned could be useful to you guys. So I just put out a message on Twitter, so I'm at Eric Kim Photo. Just some general questions. And one question that I got, which was quite nice, was from Mike at Mike Beecham. That's at MikeBeecham. And he's from Dorset, UK. I have no idea where Dorset is. I'd imagine it's pretty cold and miserable also. And his question was, how do you manage the funk of the winter months? So, Mike, and everyone else out there listening, I really get into a funk when it's the winter too. Like other human beings, I like to be at home, nice and warm. I don't really like too much shooting in the rain or when it's snowing. But based on my experiences, I've actually found that some of my best photos are when the weather's really shitty. There's a great book that I like. It was an earlier book by Martin Parrs called Bad Weather, and he had a little point and shoot film camera. I think it was a waterproof camera. I'm not sure what camera he used, but he only went out when it was raining, crazy, stormy. Shot all black and white with a flash, and ended up making some really, really incredible photos. And I think a good way to approach the funk of the winter months is that knowing that it is really difficult to shoot when it's cold, wet, dark, miserable, but oftentimes it's the really difficult times which force us to step outside our comfort zone and be a little more creative with our photography. One big practical suggestion is shooting more street photography with a flash. I know it could kind of freak some people out, but it's a good way to step outside your comfort zone. One photography book I highly recommend people pick up is called Vinter, Vinter. I think it's how Swedes pronounce winter or spell winter, and it's by a photographer named Lars Schumburg. He did an entire project um, in the winter time. And for those of you guys who have been to Stockholm or anywhere in Sweden or any Nordic countries, it's so high up in the equator that it gets super dark super fast. I think it gets like pitch dark by like 2 or 3 p.m. So for those of you guys that high up in the equator, I'm so sorry for you guys, but the rest of us, we still have light until about 3 or 4 p.m. Another suggestion is that know that when you're shooting photography, it doesn't have to just be street photography. I mean, a lot of the photography I do when the weather's not so good is just photographing my girlfriend Cindy, my family, and also another technique that I use when I have a funk in the winter months is I kind of just appreciate kind of how miserable it is. Sometimes it is good to stay at home, cuddle up with a nice cup of coffee. I have a lot of photography books that I generally don't look at too much when the weather's nice. So sometimes when the weather is a bit depressing and darker and gloomy, it's actually a good time to reflect and look at your photography books, buy photography books, go into recluse mode, and also I currently have a lot of film that's waiting to be scanned. I just let's see, I have a bunch here. So I have like a bunch of medium format film that I've shot my Hasselblad that's just waiting to get scanned. I have an Epson V750 scanner to the next to me. And generally when the weather's nice, I'd rather be out shooting. But when the weather is a bit more funky, I'd like to use that time to scan, reflect, look at my old photos, and yeah, just kind of be in a more meditative state. So know that as a photographer, I don't think you always have to be shooting, but maybe use the funk of the winter months to look at photography books, reflect on your photography, maybe edit some old photos. If you're shooting film, maybe scan, and maybe meet up other photographers for a coffee or for a beer if you're into that too. And it's a good way to share ideas, reflect, and maybe you could even do a project on bad weather. It's also a good idea. So that concludes the, I guess, first episode of Ask Eric Kim number one. Hopefully I could answer a lot more questions. And yeah, so if you have any questions, best way to ask them is contact me at Eric Kim Photo on Twitter. And yeah, look forward to more of these kind of Q&As and more videos. I don't know when to get off. So thanks to you guys so much for the love. All right, peace out.